Coach bomb earlier this afternoon about Durant to Brooklyn was significant. His time with the Bay was some great stuff. I mean, he joins up with the Slash Brothers, goes to the NBA Finals, wins the MVP. Iconic shots along the way. Durant, the only Warrior named to the All-NBA first team in his second season with Golden State once again. His best when the best was required. Another enormous shot there. Finals MVP for the second consecutive year. And then this past season, absolutely dominant in the playoffs. 32 a game, fourth most in a single postseason in Warriors history. But we know what happened. That calf injury sustained right there against Houston. Returned finally in the finals against Toronto, and for a quarter it was breathtaking, and then the Achilles pops, and that's it, and that's all, and that was indeed the last time we'd see him in a Golden State uniform. Brian Windhorst, as I mentioned, joins us now. Obviously, that news doesn't impact the NBA really until next year because he wasn't going to play either way. But as I was talking to you just a moment ago off air, all of this flurry of moves, right now you feel like the NBA is what?
Wide open. This is going to be a terrific upcoming season. So many teams have made so many great moves. Utah, New Orleans, Indiana. We're all awarding the Nets the team of the summer, but they're not going to be at their best next year. I mean, they're going to be an interesting team we're going to watch, but I don't think they're a championship team. So even they are interesting, but not the champions. We are really going to see a season where we're, I think, going to talk about basketball because the free agent class of 2020 is not that strong. Completely different world. When we were watching basketball, talking about free agency last year, we're going to watch basketball, talk about basketball next year, and that's a good place for the league to be in.
I agree. I wholeheartedly welcome that. But as my one sort of caveat to you was, well, sure, it's wide open unless Kawhi goes to the Lakers, at which point you told me, hold on, because why?
Well, Kawhi Leonard is in as commanding a position as I've ever seen a player. Maybe LeBron in 2014 was as comparable as holding the whole league in his hand. Where he goes, Lakers, Clippers, or Raptors, I think, are the choices, is the team that will probably be the favorite to win the title next year. Having said that, the Kawhi Leonard, what I know about him, and I'll be the first to admit that it's still a mystery, I just don't see him going to the Lakers, Scott. It's just not the kind of team that he normally would embrace. I don't see him wanting to be on a super team. That said, I have to admit, the way things have lined up here, I think the Lakers are absolutely in the thick of this race for him.
But just if you end up with 3 stars and then, as you say, kind of a bunch of bit pieces that you can find, and we're running out of other guys for it to be, then maybe as great as those 3 are, you still think that somebody could give them a battle? I don't.
Yeah, I just have seen, I saw this in 2010 with the Miami Heat. They had 3 terrific players and a whole bunch of guys who just really weren't ready for prime time. If they signed Kawhi, they would potentially have 10 or 11 minimum contracts. That's just something that's going to be tough. Obviously, we would all watch, and they would probably be, 1 to 2 odds in Vegas. But I don't think it's a given. I think it's going to be a wide open season next year, even if Kawhi goes to the Lakers.
And the fact that we could talk about basketball instead of the summer would actually be really fun. Brian, thank you so much.
Thanks, Scott.
Coming up on Get Up, obviously, wall-to-wall coverage from free agency. Hopefully, Woj will have slept between now and then. Which player will sign first? Well, I think we know that. I guess it's going to be, when will Kawhi sign? That's the next domino that'll be very interesting. Greeny and Company, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. Then again, 4:30 Eastern on ESPN. Want to make sure we get this story in because it's a good one. Nate Lashley, story that's what makes sports endlessly captivating. It'd be enough to simply explain that he tried to Monday qualify to get into the field in Detroit, but he didn't. He got in as the last alternate into the field. Then he went out and shot 63 twice in the first 3 rounds and had a 6-shot lead heading into Sunday. But this is also a guy who's endured, the unthinkable. He lost his parents and his girlfriend at the time in a plane crash in 2004 after they'd come to see him play for Arizona.